tarot reading mood. So many things that are strange. So many things that are strange. And we just have to ask the universe, ask the spirits, ask our psychic impulses, ask the beat of the stars, just what is going on. Now, have you heard, Mystic Moon listeners, about the flashing lights? You say no, maybe. Yes, I have. Well, you go, what's a flashing light? It's disco time. There have been a phenomena going out in all parts of the world, and there have been like thousands of videos circulating all over the internet about people driving at night, and all of a sudden the lights start going off and on. Houses, shopping malls, restaurants, traffic lights. It's just a very weird scene. It's like Twilight Zone. Twilight Zone. The lights just go off, they flicker off and on. There's no pattern to it either. And it's not only at night that the lights, electricity goes off and on, off and on. Anywhere. It can happen, and it happens in cars. It happens in, there's not anything that runs on electrical impulse is subject to this weird state. Can you imagine like being in a shopping mall, in a store, in a restaurant, and all of a sudden the lights are going off and on, off and on, off and on. It's kind of weird, isn't it? Kind of like it's like it feels like, like an ambulance type of like, and it's just kind of jarring on the nerves. Like, what's going on? What's going on? And the area could be miles. It could be stationary into one or two blocks. It just flickers back and forth, back and forth. There's no electrical problem. There's nothing aggregating it. There's no system to the way these lights are flickering. Now, what is with this flickering of lights? Let's ask. All right, let's ask the spirits. Let's ask the universe. Is this solar activity? Is this some kind of communication going on? Is this space aliens trying to is this AI? Is this what? What is this? So to my subscribers, thank you for joining anytime that you so choose to come on in. And for those who don't, just say, what is flashing lights? Well, welcome aboard. Welcome. And if you have any comments, has it happened to you? So far, it hasn't happened to me, but I've been watching others, and it's quite weird. It's quite strange. So let's just do a quick little poll and see what's with this. What's with these flashing lights? Staticky. They know that these things are like gyrating light frequencies. Lights are very powerful. First thing we have is the Nine of Pentacles. How would we interpret the flashing lights with the Nine of Pentacles? It's like attention seeking. It's like to gyrate us on our nervous system. It's something doing this. What is doing this? Are we being part of a game, a part of an experiment? They can experiment on governments, experiment on their populations all the time, but how would they do this? HAARP? Some kind of ray gun? How would this be done? So it could be an experiment. Hello, how are you? Hello, Daryl. I think that maybe it's happening. It's not just in our government. It's happening all over the world. It's happening all over the world. Could this flickering be to like get us all revved up until they turn it off for like 12 hours at a time, like they're doing in New Orleans? New Orleans has half the place in New Orleans, Louisiana, does not have any electric signals, no internet, no nothing. All right. Hello. Fabian, hello again. So what do you think this flickering lights? You've heard about this, haven't you? It's like something we should pay attention to, because all these governments, like the EU governments, the China, Russia, I don't know about Russia, but but they are going on. Why are they doing this? It's to get us, state of agitation. And we know, we're being agitated, but not only, let's say not our government per se, maybe some other entities, space aliens, something is triggering us because they know that we're susceptible, see no evil, speak no evil, hear no evil type of concept, three little monkeys, right? The three monkeys, right? Like that. It could be. It could be. So anyway, we have the hangman, a timing. That could be, yes. This sounds very much like a trigger, a trigger. The hangman is always a timing card. And it's like there's a purpose in mind, but it's almost like here we have the nine of pentacles, and then we have the hangman. Almost as though this is a setup. It feels like a setup to me. It feels like the spirit is telling this is something that. And then we have the Four of Pentacles, something that is in a controlled situation. Somebody's doing this to us. It could be Elon Musk with his Starlink all over the world, all over above the earth. This is something that's being played. We're being played. We're being played for some sort of reason because we have here the Four of Pentacles, which means almost all of the family. There's some sort of organization that is testing, and they're doing this. This sounds like an experiment. It just does. Daryl. See, they don't like the truth. This sounds like we're being played. These flickering lights are continual. It just started happening too. I would say about a month ago or so. I'm flicking. Can you imagine going into a shopping mall? You want to get a couple things, and the whole thing starts like flashing above the ceiling lights, the lights inside the shops, or like. Can you imagine going to like a McDonald's late at night, right? Or Starbucks, and all of a sudden you hear this, you feel jittery. They're just trying to test, maybe they're trying to teach AI how to agitate the humans. Well, it could be. And here, the Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands. This looks like a controlled experiment to me. They're testing how to agitate us, how to get us going. Right, Daryl? Don't you think they are? They're testing how to get us going. It sounds like this flickering is just an experiment they're doing. But are we sure this is who they is? Who is the they? The they. Could it be some sort of non-human entity? It could be. It could be. Well, we know we cannot displace what we saw already with the drones and the orbs, and we see them constantly. And it's not just now. It's been happening for centuries. It's been happening for decades. It's just that they're letting it out. Because the time is up for us to be, ugh, cavemen. The time is up. Yes, Louisiana is something that, you do know that the Earth changes and they go, oh, it's too much cow farts, human farts, whatever. We know that that's BS. It's BS. It's BS. And there is a lot of activity. Well, first of all, the sun, the planetary aspects, the planetary geometry. We know that things are happening on a vast level, and they don't want us to really put all the puzzle together. So they're trying to agitate us, I feel, with certain, or maybe there could be holes in the ozone, holes from all those Elon Musk ships, the rockets that go in there, and they get holes in the ozone that they do say they do patch themselves up. But but do they really? Can you really believe anything you hear anymore? Anyway, you got to feel it in your innards and with the universe in together. Just what is happening? Now here we have Yes. Well, they don't want you to speculate because the power of humans, the power of us, especially if we brush aside all this BS that we're like, better than some others or less than some others, and all this hypocritical garf, puke worthy nonsense, and just collectively started using our gifts, our aspirations, and our mission. What is our mission? Is our mission to eat like a whole bunch of pizzas and hamburgers and sit in front of a telly and just like act stupid? No, that's not our mission. That's not why we are put here. And we're not here to be test subjects to be played around with flickering lights either. We're not here to be Twilight Zone. Seven of Wands. The Seven of Wands is suspicious, isn't it? Seven of Wands. It looks like we're on to a very precarious step one of experiment, such and such. We're being played with. Somebody's having a good time, somebody more advanced, more well-heeled in technology, knowledge, and vastly entitled. Okay? Entitled. And they're just playing with us because we have the timing card. They have more treats in store for us. And then we have this organization, this group that's protected. And we have this Seven of Wands. Seven of Wands. This is not hail, hail, the gang's all here. This is playtime. Still playtime. See how much they can put on us and how something is being done to us. I don't know what it is, but I feel like somebody's toying with us. We're being toyed with. Yes, there are holes in the ozone. And those holes too, nobody really knows. Okay, so the purpose technically, physics-wise, to our knowledge, is a certain thing for the ozone, right? However, when you put a hole, even if for a brief amount of time, who's coming in, what's coming in, what other dimensions are coming in, and using and inserting something into our Earth, our space, our junky space full of like space junk, right? What's in there? They can even throw a few meteorites, space balls, whatever you want to call them, rocks, space rocks. You don't know. But the whole thing is to keep us triggered. We're being triggered constantly because for modern us, there's no peace. Be afraid of this, be afraid of that. And now we have they got this, don't listen to this. In case we put earphones in and we don't hear something, they go, well, you got to look in your eyeballs. You look at these flickering lights. That's got to trigger you for doing something, right? Something. Yes. All the satellites. And how do you think those satellites get into space? Nuclear energy. Poof, they don't use gasoline. They don't use electricity. You know that. The effects, the ripple effects. Boom, 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 boom. Cosmic ripples. Now we have a whole bunch of people that just do things where they just feel like it and they go, to hell with the consequences. The so-called scientists. Exactly. I mean, as I said, 2 weeks ago, I was in a shopping mall, a shopping center, and I looked out, I was outside, and I'm in the mountains, right, in New York State, and then huge X's, one to the south and one to the north, or one to the east, one to the west. I didn't have a compass with me, but why, come on, nobody puts X's in the sky, and I mean, it wasn't a little teeny weeny. No, it was huge X's. One direction and the other in another direction. Now, what does that say? Could that be CARP to go spray something over here and spray something over there? There's a lot of stuff going on. And now we have to take far out as being, that's the only area we can, no, it's not the only area, but it's an important area that we can surmise what's happening because we all have the ability, if we unload the mind control, unload the I got to be like everybody else type of thing, and start thinking and feeling and sensing. That's the thing. Thinking and feeling and sensing, because we are being played, fellow humans, played. And they're upping the ante. You can't block us out with earphones because you got to watch where you drive. You have to watch where you walk. Your sight is important. Yeah. I'm going to leave this here. Think about it. Start watching those flickering lights because they're not going to stop, and it's all over. It's not just in the state of. It's not just in one particular country. No, it's all over. It's all. Pay attention. Something's going on. Flick, 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 flick. Something's going on. Yes. In China, they had 250-mile-an-hour winds, blowing cars, blowing this, blowing that. Just to, things are going on. Come on, we all know that this is it's weird. It's weird. In the weirdness, sometimes you get too confident when you're doing weird things. But you forget that, 1 and 1 still equal 2. Right? Tie-ins. Right? Yes, Daryl. Yes, they try to, it's the consequences. Our air, our soil, our water, lots of things going on. Lots of things. And it just depends how long we're going to sit back and allow them to make this Three of Swords, this world, a Three of Swords playground for them. Them. And who is them? Who is them? I'd like to know who is them. The them. Right? Who is the them? Hi, Faith. How are you? If we want to do a reading, you have to give me a donation, a personal reading, especially when I'm in my far out of the box. Your energy. If you want me, give me a donation. I'll do you personally. Otherwise, we're just going to figure out on these things that are happening to us all because it's all making us nuts. Nuts in the way of apprehension. I mean, enough with all this be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. I want to know that we're not afraid. We know something's up. It's affecting our love life. It's affecting our careers. And we just can't sit. We're not puzzle pieces. We're not chess pieces. And we're not fishes, little minnows in a tank. No. Of course, I can, if you make yourself, of course, I can pick up your energy. Point is, please show me your energy. Right? I mean, I understand that of course, there's so much quaking going on, quaking, shaking, moving, but you want to center on you, me, and you together. Show me your love, and I'll show you my love and my attention through the spirit connection with your spirit connection. That's all. Thank you, Daryl, and I appreciate you, and I love you, and you're on the track, man. You got to just keep watching, searching. The answer's out there. We all can't be blind little ducklings crossing the highway, not oblivious to this and oblivious to that. We can't. If there's lots of people that can't deal with this stuff. They can't deal with it because it's so vast, it's huge, huge, huge. Until the next time. But yes, Faye, if you want to a reading, personal readings, donation, please. And it's in the description box if you're into it. But however, there's plenty of like collective readings on the channel. You could find something that could be of aid and help to you. You're welcome. I understand. I understand. If anybody would like a reading about like where is this energy going, because we have got to motivate each other. We have to turn that vibration within us. We have to turn it on. We have to ignite our humanity. Unite and ignite. Like fire up. Fire ourselves up. Because things aren't what they're not going to rest until either we gain control and we go no, or we allow them to like move us like puppets, like move our hands, do this, do that, do that. No. Our humanness. This is what we discovered in like past civilizations, how to, move ourselves, how to move things, how to sense things. Too much video, too much television, too much sitting on our asses of like allowing other people, experts. Oh, come on, experts. Able to repeat, able to memorize. I mean, that's gifts. True, it's gifts. But look, come on. There's more to life than just repeating like a cuckoo bird, a parrot. Right? There's more to life. There's more to living. There's more. There's more. Much more. Well, yes, I can. I can sense your energy. But if you want a personal reading, anyway, it's up to you, love. It's up to you. If I could be of help, I will. But you must do a donation. That's all. Anyway. Well, keep on the outlook of those flashing lights, because these flashing lights are not going to go away. They're flashing to get our attention. So if you're driving on a country road and you see some farmhouse, with only one or two farmhouses in the distance anyhow, and it's flashing like a Christmas tree on steroids, on blinking lights, something's going on. If you're in a department store and all of a sudden the lights are flashing, you're in a tunnel and the lights are going off and on, off and on, off and on. The Lincoln Tunnel going from New Jersey to New York, that's a tunnel. If you're on a bridge and the lights go off and on, off and on. If you're on a boat and the lights go off and on. If you're in a car, if you're driving in the highway and everybody's lights are flickering off and on, that's not warning you that the cops are down a mile or so, that way, and you better drive speed limit. Something's going on. Something big is going on. And we're being set up. Even with the solar energy, the solar explosions happening. Lights out, this, that. Lights out in Spain the other day. And you know what? The date of coming, like I think it's the end of this month, the 29th and the 30th. That's when the coronal explosions kind of culminate. So we're in for a treat. There's lots of things going on. And we are going to sit back, Mystic Moon listeners, because we're in this together and we're going to get through this. We're going to, even if we, we have an attack, that we cannot have any internet, no electricity, we're still going to be centered within ourselves, because this is part of the process of this day and age. Don't freak out. Think about what they're doing. Think about what they're doing and why they're doing it, right? They're trying to elevate your sketchy fear impulses so they could eat like there was a soda drink, like soda. These entities, whether it be AI data collection algorithms, they're collecting, or it could be some sort of space aliens who reptilian type things, low energy, low creative creatures, beings that need to have food, psychic food on a different level. right? Like when you see your dog is wagging its tail, that makes you feel good, right? When you see your pussycat is purring, that gives you like a certain kind of feeling. Well, some creatures like that nervous and low energy stuff. They like the negative. That's why we have wars. That's why we have this and that, and all this negative stuff because it feeds an element. You all heard of adrenochrome, right? The fear, raccoon eyes, the fear, stuff like that. There's good and there's not good. There's positive and there's negative charges. Well, okay, until the next time, I'm going to leave you on this and watch out for those flickering lights. Something's going on with light energies, photon energy, right? Photons. Something is going on. Try to figure it out. Something. We're in some sort of experimentation of trying to trigger us. Trigger us. For what reason? It's going to happen soon. Soon. That's what I sense. Soon. All right, until the next time, I'm going to leave you. And thank you for joining. Thank you for the thumbs, the likes. It all points out to our awareness of where we're going. All right, bye bye.